Our client, Marvin, was a math professor at the collegiate level for many years. By the time the incident at issue in this case happened, he was a full-time author of math textbooks. He's most known for crossing over principles of math with Christianity to prove that there is a God. Campus Crusade for Christ hired him to come and give a speech. The day of the incident, Marv was due to speak, I think about 1:30, and so as was his custom, he went into the room ahead of time to make sure that the stage was set up right, the podium was set up for him. So he was in there early, there's no one else in the room. He walks up, it's about a 18-inch stage. There's one step designed to fit under the stage. So he walks up the step onto the stage, puts his stuff down, sets it up. He walks down the step gives out. He falls back onto the stage, onto his shoulder. Our theory was the only reason it flipped over is you all didn't install it correctly. And their position was, how could you, this thing is not hard to install. You just put it under the stage. Of course we installed it correctly. We do these things all the time. We did it right. It was the Campus Crusade for Christ people who, when moving stages around, must have dislodged this step. Well, the damages in the case was, he has this torn rotator cuff that at the time we take the case is non-operable. We were concerned that as he gets older, it could become much worse. Arthritis would set in. Dr. Dubois, who is an expert in shoulders, concluded that he could, with a reasonable degree of medical certainty, Marv would need a shoulder replacement within the next 5 years. We set out building our case around this probability of a future shoulder replacement, the corresponding loss of enjoyment of life, and the corresponding loss of income. The defense's position was that we had $4,800 in medical bills. You have no past lost income, so we're not going to pay you very much for this case. The first and last offer at mediation was $15,000. Sometime after that, they gave us a 998 for $75,000. In this case, the other side had Dr. Vance as their orthopedic expert. Dr. Vance came in, testified that there was a 5% chance that my client would need a shoulder replacement. As Dr. Vance pointed out, he's 3 years post-incident. He's declined surgery in the past, and the two doctors who treated him immediately after the incident said, look, it's not operable. The expert qualifications chart that we put in front of the jury in closing, very simple, but very effective. And that was, we compared Dr. Dubois to Dr. Vance on 3 different areas. One, how much of their income and time is spent testifying on behalf of the plaintiff or defendant. The other columns on our chart was number of shoulder replacement surgeries. Dr. Dubois had done in excess of 250. Dr. Vance, 0. The third column was reverse total shoulder replacements. So the jurors, when we talked to them afterwards, that really drove home the point that they should be listening to Dr. Dubois, not Dr. Vance, on this issue of whether my client needs a shoulder replacement. Ahmed, he had an integral role, and we certainly couldn't have done it without him. He took most of the depositions, defended most of the depositions that we needed to defend, did most of the written discovery.
It's a tough case. It's obviously got some big hurdles, but we thought we were on the side of the right. Our guy was a very principled guy. It's easy to represent someone who has good moral values and principles and really believed in the case, and we did too.
The amount of the verdict was $324,800.
For me, it was just exciting to see someone vindicated. It was fun to see, just how happy our guy was. He really felt that he made his point, that the jury believed him. I was thrilled. I'd never been a part of something so difficult or trying. A trial's a real tough thing, and we went through it together, and I thought it was just so exciting to get the verdict.
I would just pass on what Robert Francavilla passed on to me, which is don't buy into the defense mantra that, hey, these cases aren't winnable. Juries are very cynical of these cases. Punchline is juries are cynical, but if you put in the time and develop the evidence and don't cave into the fence and take them to trial, you can win these cases.